Hello, Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon. When I'm not on vacation, the puppy is chasing his tail. This is why I love Polynesia. See, look at this. What are you eating? No, come here. Give me the leaf. Give me the leaf. No, give me that. Give me that. Thank you. Hi. So, at the Airbnb we're staying at, there is a whole bunch of puppies and dogs and stuff. It's awesome. And they're pets. They're not to be eaten, so that's good. All right. Hi. What are you doing? Okay, this video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Psychology Today. Click on that, put in your city, and you will find therapists in your area. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. Okay, I wanted to answer the rest of the questions that we had on future faking, because there was a bunch of them. He's just going to keep doing... The stand-in for Baba is this little puppy. All right, so what is the question that we have?
Okay.
And he wasn't doing that 2 minutes ago. He was like sound asleep, so now he's chasing his tail. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so the question we left off would be, can a covert narcissist also be a malignant narcissist or a psychopath?
Yes, absolutely. So malignant narcissists are just that are further down the line. They can be overt, they can be covert, they can be communal, they can be any or all of them, and they're just further down the line. What they're doing they enjoy. They like causing havoc. They like causing trauma and drama and all sorts of stuff. So yes, any and or all of them can be malignant, and any and or all of them can be psychopaths. So remember, a dark triad is when they're all the way down at the other end of the line, and they are psychopathic, narcissistic, and that can be any. That can be covert, overt, communal, etc., and Machiavellian, which is control freak. So yeah, absolutely, they can do that. Yeah, I know. Dogs are so great. I love them. Go ahead.
Okay, next question
Yes.
would be, I need some tips on how to stop gaslighting myself. A leftover hijacked part of the brain keeps saying that all the shit my dad would say if he was here.
Okay, so basically what you're having to do is you're going to have to excise your dad from your head, which is where the cognitive behavioral therapy comes in. It's also probably a good idea to go seek out some EMDR. So basically what happens is we as targets of abuse live in denial. We live in absolute denial. We live in, talking ourselves out of things, minimizing. We minimize. It's really not as bad as we think it is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or we start replaying every single rotten thing that our abuser has ever said. So that's the internal critic. That voice, that dad voice, that mom voice, whoever that was, that's the internal critic. And that's when you have to tell them to saw it off. That's when that voice pops up and you have to be like, oh, I hear you, Dad. I hear you, Mom. I hear you, Grandma. I hear you, whoever the abuser was. Thank you for your input. Shut the fuck up. Why? Because you say so. You are the boss of those thoughts. Those thoughts are not the boss of you. They think they are not. And when you get into denial, it's a really good idea to write down every single rotten thing that your abuser has ever done to you, so that when you are in denial, you can grab that list and go, no, they did this, and this, and I remember it, and here it is, and it's in writing, and we're done. There it is. So that's really important to do. So I hope that answers.
And he's definitely the boss of his tail.
Yes, the little puppy is the boss of his tail. He's over there chasing his tail around and around in circles. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
One of the most difficult realizations was seeing just how immature I am. How do I deal with the overwhelming feelings of having to play catch-up with basic adult development stuff?
So that's common. That really, don't be hard on yourself. Please don't. Please don't be hard on yourself. So that is very common for us as survivors of abuse and, targets of abuse, especially with a family, because the family has a tendency to infantilize us or whoever the target of abuse is, and they like to make out that we don't know what we know, and so they also don't let us experience things that we need to experience in order to develop and in order to get maturity and things like that. So please don't beat yourself up. So we're immature. So what? So we can learn. So we can, keep growing. Are we playing catch up? Probably. Yeah, probably to a certain point. And then it gets better. So, don't beat yourself up. It's just a natural part of the process. And really, if you're going to be angry at anybody, be angry at your family for hobbling you and not allowing you to mature at a normal pace. So yeah, that's a common feeling. You're not alone in that one. You are not alone. Don't beat yourself up. Put the anger back where it belongs. It belongs to the family of origin. It belongs to whoever the abuser was. So remember, in Pete Walker's book, CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving, I think it's chapter 3, he talks about putting the anger back on the abuser where it belongs. We have got to stop trying to defend, oh, here comes the puppy. Stop trying to defend the abuser. And part of it is because we've been trained for so long to defend the abuser and make excuses for them that we continue to do it even after they're gone. Oh, come here, you. Oh, you're adorable. Wish I could take him home, but he belongs to somebody else. Anyway, that's what we do is we make excuses for them and we justify and rationalize and all sorts of stuff because that's what we've been trained to do. And we got to stop doing that. We got to stop making excuses for them. They are the problem, not us. Okay? So there we go.
Okay.
Dogs. Go ahead.
Well, this is kind of subjective, so you can...
Okay.
Is someone a narcissist when they started out being angry and having mood swings, and then they become nice to you and treat you normally?
No, you may not have my hairband. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. What was the question?
Is someone a narcissist when they started out being angry and having mood swings, and then they become nice to you and treat you normally?
That may not be narcissism.
That's very subjective.
There's so many things that could cause that. I mean, bipolar can cause that. Borderline can cause that. Narcissism can cause that. There's all sorts of things that can cause mood swings. PTSD can cause that. CPTSD is biting my hair now. There's all sorts of things that can cause mood swings and cause a person to go from one extreme to another. That's not okay, though. I mean, it doesn't really matter what the reasoning is that the person is doing that. It's like, boundaries. It's like, no, you don't get to treat me like that and then turn around and be nice to me. You just don't. So you want to draw some boundaries with that. I don't know what it is. I don't have the person in front of me, but it could be a myriad of things. It could be a hormonal imbalance. It could be... who knows? They may not feel well. Who knows? So, but you definitely want to draw boundaries and let people know you don't get to treat me poorly and then turn around and treat me nice. It's like either you're nice to me and you're good to me and you're honest with me and authentic, or you're not. And if you're not, get out of my life. So there that is. Okay. Next question.
Do narcissists take pleasure on purposely making you jealous or comparing you to other people?
Oh, God, yes. Oh, God, yes. They need a third wheel. They need a third part of the triangle. So they will often play on your insecurities. So they will say, oh, look at that handsome man, and boy, I would really love to be with him. Or look at that handsome girl, or a beautiful girl. I would really love to be with her. And look at those legs that go on forever, and blah, 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 blah. And they do it to instill insecurity in you so that you're panicked that they're going to leave you. They especially do this when they are paired with somebody with borderline personality disorder. Remember, they love people with borderline personality disorder because borderline personality disorder's worst fear is being abandoned. And so when they get together with somebody whose worst fear is being abandoned, they torture this poor person. Just torture them. Like, pretending that there's a third party or having a third party or whatever. And then they use it to just torture this person. Absolutely. Yeah, they do that. Yes. Absolutely. And if somebody does that to you, I'm sorry, kick them to the curb. Be done. You don't need that. You don't need that. Because then what it does is it sets up for the narcissist supply, it sets up this narcissistic supply of win me back. You need to do X, Y, and Z to please me, to keep me so that I don't go with this other person. So you need to win me back. And then you do everything you can to win this person back, and then they fucking leave you anyway. So they're assholes. So yeah, if somebody does that, be done. If you're not enough for somebody, then, their loss. Fuck them. Be done. Be done. You don't deserve it. You don't need it. So, yeah.
You're better off chasing your tail.
You're better off chasing your tail because you get more out of it than trying to deal with a narcissist that's set up a third party. So, next question.
My sister is attempting to reunite with her narc husband. How can I help her to not do it?
Yeah, good luck. Okay, so listen to me now. Believe me later. There is a reason I named the title of my book, You Can Lead a Horse to Water, but You Can't Make him cha-cha. Listen to me now, believe me later. Some people, you give them the information and they go, oi, I should have had a V8. I'm not going to go with this narcissist. This is terrible. I'm going to read all these books and do better for myself. If, however, they are determined that this is who they're going to get back together with, then that's who they're going to get back together with. You can give them all the books in the world, and they will be living in denial, and you might as well call them Cleopatra, Queen of Denial, because they're not going to change. Oh, my goodness. What do you see? What? Go get him, Tiger.
What is it?
I don't know. It could be the other dog next door. Anyway, they will go... What is he barking at?
What are you doing?
Oh my goodness. Anyway, they will reunite with the abuser regardless. And there's nothing you can do. And here's the sucky thing. The more you try to get them to not reunite with the abuser, if they're determined to reunite with the abuser, they will hate you for it, for pointing out the truth. And the abuser will absolutely work on them, and they'll run back to the abuser and go, well, my sister or my brother doesn't like you, and blah 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 blah, and then the abuser will go, well, I'll tell you what, your sister or your brother is X, Y, and Z, and I don't want you around them, and blah blah blah, and you'll lose the relationship because that's just what happens, especially if this person is a covert narcissist. So all you can do is offer books. Offer your concern, but don't expect it to be thanked, especially if she really feels that that's what she deserves. So I hope that answers the question. So, yeah. Next question?
Yeah, okay. So somebody's looking, are there any tips on dealing with chronic fatigue? And basically they're saying, I feel like I'm constantly sleeping due to all the emotional and mental stress from dealing with
You are not wrong. You are not wrong. So here's the deal. More survivors of abuse have autoimmune diseases than the general population. So what can you do for chronic fatigue? What can you do for autoimmune diseases? I would say get with a really, really good naturopath that knows what they're doing. That's what you need. You need somebody who knows their stuff, who knows what they're doing, who can help you strengthen your immune system. And when we get out of an abusive relationship, oftentimes people will have, like I said, autoimmune diseases, chronic fatigue, Epstein-Barr, all sorts of stuff going on. It's important you take care of yourself. I think we as survivors of abuse underestimate the marathon that we have been running through. We've literally been running a marathon, and we've been running a marathon with lead weights on our feet and spikes in our shoes, not on our shoes. And we've been trying to trudge to the goal line, to the winning line. And really the winning line is when we realize that the narcissist is the weights on our feet and the spikes in our shoes, and we take them off and get rid of them, and then we can run to the end line. So we have to take care of ourselves. We have to do self-care. We have to get with a good either naturopath or a good doc of some sort. I'm not a huge fan of Western meds. I am a huge fan of naturopathy. I think it's very helpful. I've got an amazing one that's in Mesa. So Nevi Health is who I go to. Nevi Health is amazing. So anyway, that's the best thing you can do, and just don't deny. It's like don't minimize, don't rationalize, don't make yourself wrong, don't put yourself down for having chronic fatigue. It's like, yeah, we absolutely, they run us down. They deprive us of sleep, they deprive us of money, they deprive us of shelter in some cases, they deprive us of family and friends, they deprive us of food in some cases. They are horrible, awful human beings. I hesitate to use the words human beings with them, but they do, and they make it so that our bodies are in a constant state of fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, 24/7. Your body can't deal with that level of cortisol. It can't. It can't. It cannot deal with it. So, yeah, you absolutely are not crazy. You're not wrong. Yes, your body is in a state of survival. And I would seriously suggest getting with a good naturopath that understands surviving abuse, that understands autoimmune diseases, that understands chronic fatigue, and you start working on rebuilding your system back up. Go take good care of you. Abso-freaking-lutely. There is a reason I go get massages once a month. You betcha. Or twice a month in some cases. There's a reason I go to a naturopath. There's a reason why I take vitamins. There's a reason why I try to do everything I can to keep my system up and running. Because, yeah, we're all survivors of abuse. And, yeah, our body has been at for years. So, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, this appears to be the last question.
Okay.
Is it normal for narcissists to gaslight their supply into believing that they have a certain mental disorder?
Yes. Oh, God, yes. Okay. So narcissists will pretend to be mentally ill or whatever illness suits them. So oftentimes you'll find that with the narcissists who are, what's the word I'm looking for? They're really crazy, those ones. They're malingering is what it's called. So malingering is when you pretend to have an illness, either a mental illness or a physical illness, and you're malingering. You're constantly saying you're sick when you're not, okay? And it's done to get attention. It's done to get sympathy. It's done to get whatever, narcissistic supply. So oftentimes you'll see that, especially with the older narcissists, when they've lost money and they've lost power and they've lost this, that, and the other thing, they become the biggest fucking hypochondriacs. Hippopotamuses. They become... I think the brain is baked from the sun. Seriously, I've got a sunburn again. Anyway, and I put on sunblock. Anyway, so they become hypochondriacs, hypochondriacs, and they have every single disease you could possibly think of. They do study psychology, and they love to use the lingo against us, and they love to, play the victim and do this, that, and the other thing. And it's all, the question you have to ask is, what's the end game? What are they getting out of it? What's the payoff? How come they do that? What are they looking for? Where's the supply? That's really what it is. And in some cases, narcissists are so crazy. Remember, they're in competition with everyone. So if somebody says that they have PTSD, they will come out and say that they have worse PTSD because of some imagined thing that happened to them. Or if somebody says they have depression, I've been suicidal and blah, 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 even though they're not. So, yeah, are they in competition all the time with all sorts of different issues? You betcha. You betcha. So that was the last question? Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I answered all of the last questions. This Sunday, I think I would like to do one on wannabes. I saw quite a few of those here, and I will tell you more about it on Sunday. I'll give you a little...
Otherwise known as
what?
The Marilyn Manson song. Right?
Oh, the beautiful people, yeah. So basically I saw all 30% of the island sitting at one table. We'll talk. So, yeah. Anyway, there was that. I want to talk about wannabes. Why? Because they're used car salesmen, and it's another way to hook people in to their drama kind of thing, and you want to stay the fuck away from them. The real people don't do that. So we'll talk about wannabes on Sunday. All right, kids. Well, this is a short one. I hope everybody's good, and I will see you on Sunday. Talk to you later. Bye.